Have you ever been on a simple family road trip, only for it to spiral into a nightmare you'll never forget? What started as a fun journey from Reno to Las Vegas in 2018 became one of the most terrifying nights of our lives. This is a true story that will make you question the roads you travel after dark. Tonight, I'm going to tell you everything that happened, if you dare to listen. It all began in early October 2018. The Harper family, a rather unique family, decided to take a long-awaited trip from Reno, Nevada to Las Vegas. Their parents, Merrick Harper, father, 42, and Isolde Harper, mother, 39, were excited to give their kids a break from school. Their children, Zephyr, 16-year-old son, and Lyra, 13-year-old daughter, had packed the back seat with games, snacks, and music playlists ready for the 5-hour drive. The road was quiet, eerily quiet. Nevada's highways often stretch for miles with nothing but sand, scrub, and the occasional tumbleweed. Around 9 p.m., after passing a particularly desolate stretch near the small town of Gabbs, the car suddenly sputtered and came to a complete stop. Merrick tried the ignition several times, but it refused to turn over. The gas tank was full, the engine seemed fine, yet the car wouldn't budge. With no cell service and darkness settling over the empty highway, a sense of unease crept in. Zephyr, ever the skeptic, joked, "Maybe we broke a rule of the road no one's supposed to break." But Isolde felt something else, a heavy, cold feeling in the air, like the world had quietly shifted around them. The wind whispered through the canyon-like stretches, carrying faint sounds that didn't belong. As they waited, strange figures appeared on the highway in the distance. At first, they looked like shadows cast by moonlight, but the closer they came, the clearer it became that these weren't just ordinary travelers. The figures were oddly humanoid, but their movements were unnatural, jerking and swaying as if disconnected from reality. Lyra, who had always been sensitive to the paranormal, clutched her mother's hand and whispered, "They're not real, are they?" Merrick, trying to remain rational, stepped out with a flashlight. But as the beam of light cut across the road, the figures vanished. One moment, they were there, standing and staring. The next, gone without a trace. The family huddled in the car, unsure whether to drive forward or wait for help that might never come. The air grew colder, their breaths visible in the dim dashboard light, and a low humming noise seemed to echo from nowhere. Hours seemed to pass, or maybe only minutes. Time became distorted. Shadows danced along the edges of the road. Zephyr tried to take pictures, hoping to capture evidence, but the camera showed only static. "Something's watching us," Isolde whispered, her voice trembling. The night had taken on a life of its own, and the Harpers were trapped in a corridor of fear they couldn't explain. That was when the first of the figures reappeared, closer this time. And this time, it didn't vanish. Standing silently just beyond the headlights was a tall, thin figure, dressed in tattered clothes, face obscured by shadow. It tilted its head unnaturally, studying the car, its presence radiating a sense of something deeply wrong. The family's hearts pounded in unison, their instincts screaming that this was no longer just a broken-down car in the middle of nowhere. This was a nightmare come to life. The figure remained frozen in the distance, its presence pressing against the car windows like invisible hands. Merrick tried to start the car again, but the engine wouldn't respond. Panic was setting in. Zephyr whispered, "Dad, we should just get out of here," but Merrick shook his head. He couldn't leave his family alone in the dark. Then, suddenly, more figures emerged from the darkness, slowly surrounding the car. They moved silently, gliding across the asphalt without a sound. Isolde pressed her hand to Lyra's mouth to stifle her scream. The streetlights that should have illuminated the road flickered and went out, plunging them into complete darkness. All that remained were the dim car headlights and the silhouettes of the figures, closer now, almost at the edge of the hood. Lyra, trembling, noticed that the figure's eyes glowed faintly, like embers in the dark. She pointed and whispered, They're looking at us." The humming sound grew louder, vibrating through the car, rattling the windows and making their teeth chatter. Every instinct screamed at them to escape, yet the car remained dead, immobile as if trapped by some unseen force. In a desperate move, Merrick grabbed a tire iron from the back seat, trying to appear brave. "We have to get out of here," he shouted. The figures didn't flinch. Instead, they began to move closer, their forms twisting and elongating in ways that defied reality. Zephyr aimed his phone's flashlight at them, and for a split second, he saw faces, twisted, hollow, almost skeletal, staring back with a hatred he couldn't comprehend. Then, just as suddenly as they appeared, the figures dissipated into the darkness. The humming ceased. The air warmed, and the highway returned to its quiet, empty state, as though nothing had happened. The family sat frozen, unsure if it had been a hallucination, a shared nightmare, or something far worse. Merrick tried the ignition again, and this time, the car roared to life. Without looking back, the Harpers drove for what felt like hours, the silence in the car broken only by heavy breathing and whispered prayers. When they finally reached a small gas station near Tonopah, Nevada, dawn was breaking. They stepped out, shaken, their hearts still racing, realizing that what they had experienced wasn't just a broken-down car in the middle of the desert. It was something beyond comprehension, something that might follow them forever. Even now, when they tell the story, their voices tremble. Shadows on empty highways, the cold wind, the figures with glowing eyes, all remain vivid in their memories. They've never returned to that road, and they never will. This is a true story from 2018 Nevada, a night that changed a family forever. If this story sent chills down your spine, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more true horror stories that will keep you awake at night. Have you ever experienced something similar on a lonely road, or felt a presence you couldn't explain? Share your experience in the comment box below, and let us know what you think. Share this video with friends or family who dare to face the dark, if they're brave enough.